8 Ways How Kindness Will Ruin Your Life. We often hear that we should be nice and care for others more than ourselves. But does anyone warn us that being too nice and loving can be harmful? We live in a world where we don't always receive what we offer because it's full of kind people who feel how their giving drains them both money-wise and emotionally. Could being too nice even risk our own lives? Be shocked by the bad things that can happen to you when you're kind. Today, I'll tell you 8 bad things that can happen to you if you're too nice, and I'll show you 4 strong ways to stop people from using you. Let's go to number 1 without wasting time. Number 1. How to balance giving and self-care. The Stoic way of thinking. The Stoics taught us that we should not rely on other people to make us happy, but accept things as they are. When we give without expecting too much back, we avoid feeling let down, and we learn to detach ourselves from our emotions, which makes us more peaceful. Sometimes, we don't realize that we are not giving without any strings attached. When we give everything we have, we hope that others will do the same for us. But when we need something important, we find out that the people we helped are so used to getting everything from us that they think we can handle everything in their lives and ours, especially our own, because if we don't care about ourselves, why would we care about others? You may think that being nice and generous will make others happy and grateful, but you will soon realize that this is not the case. You will feel frustrated, exhausted, angry, and sad when you don't get the same kindness and generosity back. But you have to understand that people are not being ungrateful or mean. They are just doing what you should be doing too, which is taking care of their own needs and responsibilities. People will get used to your kindness and generosity, and they will expect you to always give them something, which is the next point. The Stoics teach us that we should value ourselves based on how we act with wisdom and virtue, not based on how we please others. Being moderate and balanced in our giving helps us control our actions and avoid habits that harm our mental health. You have learned since you were young that people tend to follow routines and patterns, and this is very true. People like to adjust to a certain way of living and a harmony of things happening around them. The concept of the comfort zone comes from this need for stability. When you are always nice and generous, the people you help will get used to your kindness and generosity, and they will always want you to give them something. You will make them comfortable and lazy, and they will not do many of the things they should do because you will do them for them. If you don't respect yourself, no one will respect you either and tell you to care more about yourself. Don't hope for this kind of understanding from the people you help because they will cling to their own hero, which will hurt them a lot in their lives. Number 2. Why you need to put yourself first. How self-care helps you stay healthy and balanced. Your dreams will be ignored. The Stoics taught us that we should act with wisdom and virtue, set boundaries, and focus on our own duties first if we want to keep our balance and not lose our sense of self and well-being for others. If you always put other people's needs before your own, you might be hiding from something inside you that pains and frightens you. How do you feel when you are alone on the weekend or when you come back home every day and no one is there to welcome you? If you are busy with so many things because you want to avoid yourself, the impact will be harder because, on one hand, you will have to face yourself sooner or later, and on the other, your mood will get worse as you keep putting other people's needs above your own. Self-care is one of the most important things for being healthy. Before you can make others feel better, you need to make sure you are happy, pampered, and well looked after. That means you should never give someone a chocolate unless you first savored one yourself. Likewise, you shouldn't agree to clean a friend's house until you've cleaned your own and watched a nice movie while drinking wine. The rest of the world comes after you. Number 3. How to be strong and respected. The importance of having boundaries in your relationships. People will see you as weak and act accordingly. Stoicism teaches us to be strong and in control of ourselves by having boundaries and being disciplined. We can show others that we care about our own duties and values, gaining their respect instead of being seen as weak. If you are too helpful to other people over time, you might be respected in your field of work. But with other people, you might be giving the opposite impression. When you have no boundaries, people start to see you as weak, like the person who always agrees with the boss. They will come to you to dump their tasks on you because they know you will not say no. But when you use this powerful word, they will start to feel something for you they never expected: respect. You will have a lot of people who only come to you when they want something. Stoicism tells us how important it is to be smart and wise by choosing who to help. With self-control and insight, we can tell the difference between genuine people and those who want to use us. So we don't waste our time or energy on things that don't matter. People who pretended to be your good friends suddenly only want to spend time with you when they need something. If you think about it logically, it's not so surprising that this could happen to you, since most people don't invite their workers or colleagues to have coffee with them, let alone a drink. What's happening to you makes sense, but that doesn't mean it's right. So you need to learn how to use the techniques I'll tell you about at the end to stop people from taking advantage of you. Number 4. How to have good friends and stay away from bad habits. You will only meet people who ask and never give. We need to be careful and smart when we make our relationships. The kind of people we see depends on the kind of energy we feel. If we feel low, we meet people who are bad, sad, evil, and hurtful. If we feel high, we meet people who are good, happy, nice, and helpful. That's why, when we give too much to everyone, we lose our energy and become low. This makes people who want a lot or who are greedy come to us. They don't care about helping us. They only want to get what they can from us, and then go away without any thanks. You might get addicted to something. The Stoics told us to be peaceful and in control of ourselves. Being wise about how much we give saves us from bad habits and makes us have a good relationship with ourselves and our choices. When we don't have enough of something, we want more of it. This is the easiest way to get addicted. One day, someone who loves you might see that you drink too much alcohol or other drinks. They might also see that you eat too much food or gamble too much money. Listen to what they say to you, because you might get angry and say you don't have any problem. But this is how people usually act when they have a problem, and they don't know it. Don't forget that people who love you want what's good for you. So pay attention to what they say because they want to help you get back on track and move forward. Number 5. The value of self-control. Staying away from bad habits and keeping a balanced life. You'll make people doubt you. Stoicism teaches us to do the right thing regardless of what others think of us. By living according to our values and morals, we create a good reputation that can survive false claims. We may wish things were different, but the reality is that there are not many nice people in the world. So, if you are one of them, people will be wary of you instead of being grateful and amazed. It will not take long before your kindness makes people curious about what you are hiding and what you are planning to do secretly. This could mean you have encountered a group of distrustful people, but it is more likely that they are just being realistic. Most people who are too helpful are concealing some wicked schemes, and it is better to avoid them and reject their help. Number 6. The importance of self-awareness. How your feelings can guide you to achieve mental well-being. Your feelings are not random. They are signals that tell you something about yourself and your situation. One of the key principles of Stoicism is self-awareness, which means being aware of your thoughts, feelings, and desires. The Stoics believe that by being self-aware, you can understand yourself better and act by your true nature. By being aware of your feelings, you can also notice when you are overextending yourself and sacrificing your mental well-being for others. This allows you to adjust your priorities and find a healthy balance. How do you feel when you help other people? Helping others is a noble and kind act, but it should also make you feel good about yourself and your choices. So if you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, resentful, or exploited, it's time to pay attention to your feelings. They are telling you that something is wrong and that you need to take care of yourself. Don't ignore or deny your feelings. They are your friends, not your enemies. Instead, try to figure out how the help you are giving is affecting your health and happiness. Number 7. How to say no and set healthy boundaries for yourself and others. The word no can be scary and hard to say, but it can also be empowering and liberating. The Stoics taught us that we should value our time and energy and use them wisely and moderately. They also taught us that we should have self-control and not let others dictate our actions or emotions. Saying no is a way of showing self-control and respect for ourselves and others. It means that we know our limits and priorities, and that we don't let others take advantage of us or overwhelm us. Sometimes, saying no can make us feel guilty or sad, but that's normal. We are used to pleasing others and avoiding conflict. But if we always say yes to everything, we will end up feeling resentful, exhausted, and pessimistic. We will lose sight of our own goals and needs and let others control our lives. That's why we need to practice saying no and setting boundaries. We can start by looking at ourselves in the mirror and telling ourselves that saying no is not selfish or rude, but necessary and healthy. It's the only way to reclaim our freedom and protect ourselves from unwanted and harmful situations. Imagine that you have a friend who always asks you for favors, such as lending money, doing homework, or giving rides. You like your friend and you want to help, but you also have your own responsibilities and expenses. You feel stressed and frustrated every time your friend calls you, but you don't know how to say no. You worry that your friend will get angry or stop talking to you if you refuse. You also feel guilty for not being a good friend. But is this really a healthy friendship? Is your friend respecting your time and energy? Is your friend being fair and grateful? Or is your friend just using you and taking you for granted? The Stoics would advise you to be honest and assertive with your friend. They would tell you to say no when you can't or don't want to do something. They would tell you to explain your reasons and to offer alternatives if possible. They would tell you to stand your ground and not let your friend manipulate you or make you feel bad. They would tell you that saying no is not a sign of weakness or unkindness, but a sign of strength and wisdom. They would tell you that saying no will help you preserve your dignity and happiness, and that it will also help your friend learn to be more independent and responsible. They would tell you that saying no is a way of showing love and respect for yourself and others. Number 8. How to avoid toxic people. According to the Stoic virtues of self-control and self-esteem, it's essential to give yourself some time and space to look after yourself. Do what makes you happy, like working out, painting, listening to music while having a cup of coffee, or anything else that energizes you. Complete your tasks as soon as possible so you can enjoy this. You should take this very seriously. So seriously that you should plan this time every day or every week. So if someone asks for your help at that time, they need to be very grateful and supportive to you, not to the person. So without guilt, you say no and savor that time and space just for yourself. If you don't want to be so blunt, You can offer to help at another time, but make it clear that you will only be able to help for a little while because you have other things to do. Recognize toxic people and keep away from them. Following the Stoic rules of self-control and wisdom, it's important to know which relationships are beneficial for you and which can exhaust you mentally. By avoiding people who constantly sap your energy and don't bring anything positive, you're taking care of your own well-being and showing Stoic self-control in your relationships. You should know that if you try to help a toxic person, it won't work. These people bombard you with their grievances, their pains, and their pessimistic view of life. Don't waste your time trying to help them, because if their problems were solved, they would have to stop whining. That's something they wouldn't accept. Conclusion. In essence, Stoic philosophy advocates for moderation in all aspects of life, including kindness. It suggests that giving too little can be seen as selfish, while giving too much can deplete one's resources. Therefore, it's wise to find a middle ground, striking a balance between prioritizing others' needs and one's own. Remembering the importance of setting boundaries, such as saying no when necessary, is crucial. By embracing this approach, we can cultivate harmony and fulfillment. If you found these insights valuable, consider showing support by liking and sharing this content, spreading awareness about the wisdom of Stoicism.